Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to wearefree.tv, the channel by the people, of the people, for the people. The channel that brings you different people from around the world that talk about different subjects to do with the freeing of humanity from the bondage that we've been in for the last who knows how many years, about the new humanity, about the fifth dimension, about the expansion of consciousness, about different modalities of healing, body, soul, and mind, and many other interesting subjects. And I would appreciate very much if any one of you wishes to be interviewed. No problem, just contact me on this email, and then we could talk about arranging an interview. And of course, I'd appreciate if you haven't yet joined our Telegram group, then it is shown right here, wearefree.tv. In Telegram, you may join. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the subscribe button and the bell so you are notified whenever a new interview is published. And today, I will also thank you for publishing and sharing this interview on your different social platforms so many more people can be exposed to the important information that is coming your way today from our guest. Second time he's on the show. His name is P, since he cannot disclose his full name, and he is a truth seeker. The name of our interview is Imprisoned for Exposing the Authorities #2. This is chapter 2. It is going to be an update after the court hearing in Denmark of Sigmund on the 15th of November this year. So without further ado, hello there, gentlemen. How are you today? P and Schwingster, my friend that's helping me with the interview today.
Aloha.
I'm good. Thank you very much, Michael. Hello, Swing.
Hello.
Hi. So thank you for coming back, P, the truth seeker. I understand that there's been some developments with the affair of Sigmund, who represents the free men on the land, represents the fight for freedom and common law, and abolishing the system of the straw man and many more important things. As Schwingster says, we are all Sigmund. So please update us, P. What has happened during that interview? During that hearing.
Wow, there has been happening a lot of things. So I'm not sure where to start. But as you all know, Sigmund was imprisoned by a hard breakdown on the highway in Denmark. That's the excuse. And he have been now in prison for over 2 months. He have never acknowledged the legal system, and he have never been in his own courts. It's been several courts. Courts for, I'm not sure what the word is for this first arrest when he is waiting for the real court. But yep. He have never shown up in none of these courts, beside the first one, where he was forced with power to be in this court hearing. And in this hearing, he said to the judge and he said to the actors that he is not there willingly. He don't want to appear in this court, and he never does. Still, they went through a court hearing, not a hearing, but a real court. Now this 15 of
November,
yeah. And I went through this court hearing. I have a lot of letters from Sigmund now, which he sent from the prison, and it's quite astonishing what he is writing, because they are trying to force him. They are beating him when he have these handcuffs on, to force him to appear in these courts, and they bringing him from the prison to the courthouse and beats him to try to go into this courthouse, but he doesn't. And when they arrive to the courthouse, the policemen and the prison guards are being told by the lawyers that Sigmund have to walk in by himself. But they are forcing him to the courthouse, and then they say you have to go in voluntarily.
But I don't understand. You say
And
that he didn't appear on the 15th. He didn't appear
No.
because he didn't want to appear, or because they just did it without him? I don't understand. Why didn't he appear?
Because he don't recognize the court system.
Okay, so they're happy for him to come there. Obviously, they want him to come there because then they could do a joinder with him and subject him to their rules, but he is not cooperating. So they basically went ahead and held the hearing without him being present.
Yeah, they went ahead and picked him up from the prison, drove him to the courthouse and into a room, into the next room, but he didn't go into the court because they can't force him to go into the court. He have to go in there.
Willingly.
What you call? Willingly, yeah.
And why?
And,
Why must he do that?
Because you have to get this joinder. You have to accept. You have to accept the system.
So by him walking in, he's basically accepting the system, and then they could do whatever they want him, and he obviously knows that, so he's refusing to walk in. So then what happened? They just said, okay, you don't want to go in, then go back to jail. Then they took him back to jail?
No, what happened was they continue the court without him.
Yep. But where was he? In the next door room?
In the next door room, yeah.
Okay.
And there was a lot of people, quite a few people went from Norway to Denmark to be in the court. Yeah. And also a lot of Danish people was there to listen to what was said. And quite a lot, I think about 20 people was going into the courtroom, but only 60 was allowed to be there. Even if there was more chairs, they only allowed 16 people inside. And people was wondering why only 16, why not 17 or 20? And that's a question we are digging a little bit into, because everything in this system has the rules. And why allowed 16 and not 17? Is that because if there is over 16, then the witness has some kind of power? I'm not sure.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so then then what happened? So was there a was he sentenced for anything? Was there a judgment?
Yeah, and the actor was, I'm not so good in English, so I have to try to take this a little bit
Who's
slow.
the actor? Sorry, who's the actor?
The actor's name is Jens.
But what's an actor?
He's acting. Yeah, it's an act. That's the idea.
The prosecutor is called the actor. And he's an actor.
But who's calling him the actor? The common law people, or is he really called the actor?
In Norwegian and in Danish language, it's called actor.
Ah, okay, fine. It's not some conspiracy theory thing. Okay, good. So the actor, the lawyer, who was he? The plaintiff? You mean the one representing the state?
The prosecutor.
The prosecutor. Okay. He said
in
what?
In Danish and Norwegian, he is called actor.
Okay, so let's refer to him as the actor. So what did the actor say?
He claimed that Sigmund was using the Tesla as a weapon to, I'm not sure, I don't think he used to kill the police, but to harm the police. The Tesla to Sigmund became a weapon.
Yeah.
And in Sigmund's car, it's also discovered 2 knives. One knife is for slicing vegetables, and one knife is to slide bread, a bread knife.
Yeah.
These 2 knives became a dagger in the court, and he claimed that Sigmund was attempt to use this dagger to harm the police officers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, amazing.
And the prosecutor submitted a request for 5 months imprisoned for Sigmund, but he was sentenced to 4 months in prison.
Right. So let me just ask you this: when you say that the prosecutor presented his claims, obviously there was nobody on the side of Sigmund to defend him and to kind of put a different case forward. Say, well, no, it wasn't a dagger; it was just a bread knife. There was nobody there, correct? So the prosecutor could have said anything. He could have said that there was a bomb in the car, but there was nobody there to rebut that.
There was a man who was appointed lawyer for Sigmund. He was appointed by the state.
Yep.
So he was there to defend Sigmund, but Sigmund was not there. And the first day, this attorney was presented for Sigmund. Sigmund fired him. But Sigmund has fired this attorney, but the attorney don't want to be fired, so he just proceed.
Amazing. I mean, look, it sounds to me like they're obviously trying to send a message. They're basically saying to all of us, if you go ahead and do these things and try and prove that the system is rigged and that this is just one big matrix and that the straw man exists and you're all slaves, if you carry on doing that, we're just going to do the same to you. We're going to throw you in prison. We're going to come down with lies and we're going to set you up in different ways and we're going to make all of your lives a misery. So here you are. It's a warning to all of you guys, or to all of us. Correct?
That's how I see it. So I know it's a lot of people that's being targeted because they are standing up for the truth and the freedom. And the case with Sigmund started with he was putting out some notices to the officials, governments in Norway, and told them what was happening was wrong about this event in 2021 that started in 2020. And after he did that, the police came after him, and they have been after him for a while. And we know that the Norwegian government is involved in this case. We have it on paper. We know from Sigmund's own letters that the Norwegian police, the first day, the 15th of September, the 15th of September, when this was happening on the highway, when he was brought to jail, the 15th of September, the Norwegian police presented for him a letter that he have to acknowledge from Norway. So we know the Norwegian police is involved in this, and they are working a lot to bring him down from Norway.
So look, let's just complete all the ridiculous allegations against him and then move on to what we can do. So one, they found a bread knife and a small knife to peel vegetables, and they claimed it was a dagger, and a dagger obviously is a proper knife to stab and kill people, and that's not what it was. And then they said that his Tesla, because he braked on the highway, then he tried to kill the police or whatever, or damage them with his car to run them over or whatever. And he was violent towards the police, which again, you say he wasn't. Seems to me like if he hasn't got a past of violence or anything like that, then why would he suddenly want to run over a police officer on the highway in in a foreign country? Okay, so I tend to believe that that's the case. So what else did they say? So they said that he anything else ridiculous they accused him of?
Yeah, they said that the reason they followed him after the custom control was because he had an unknown passport and unknown license plates. That was the reason why they pursued him.
Well, that sounds like a logical thing. I don't see any problem. It doesn't. Actually, the only thing that they don't seem to be lying about is that.
Yeah, actually, that's the one thing they don't lie about.
Yeah, but what else did they accuse him of?
No, they just accuse him about these two things.
Okay, so let's move on. And then they gave him four months. The sentence is 4 months in prison. He already served 2 months, I believe, so he needs to stay there for another 2 months.
No. 2 months in custody in Denmark is the same as 4 months prison. So he have done his sentence. He have done his punishment. But then they put him in another jurisdiction because they want to throw him out of Denmark. So he have to be in prison until he have acknowledged the sentence or not acknowledged the sentence, and he have to be in prison until the Danish government find out when they can bring him to Norway.
So that might take a year.
Yeah, no one knows. We don't have any paper from the government. We don't have any paper from the courthouse, because they're saying, no, we are going to give this paper to Sigmund. Sigmund is in prison. Sigmund is not allowed to build up his own case, his own justice. He is cut out from communication with us. He don't get phone call. He don't allowed to call. We just send letter from us to him, and he is sending letter from the prison. But it's take maybe 15 to 20 days before we get this letter from him. So he's quite cut off of the world, you know.
Okay, Schwing, any questions?
Well, first of all, I'm taking it all in. It's just a crazy story, you know. It's he's being kidnapped by a crazy system, basically. That's what I'm hearing. And what do you think, P, that can support? What can people do to support this? To support Sigmund?
I'm not sure, because I feel it's kind of a hopeless situation. We try to get people, email the judge, email the police, email the governments, the politicians. We try to get people to call and ask for Sigmund, because now when Sigmund's girlfriend is calling to the prison now, they just hang up on her.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, and this is kidnapping on a high level. It's actually a kidnapping on high level, and torturing a person. The Danish government, the Danish prison is torturing a man for only braking on the highway. It seems crazy, and I think point out to the police and show the world what the police are doing with a man who just claimed his rights, because they are torturing, they are kidnapping, they are beating him, they are locking him in isolation for several days, 2 days without food and water. I'm not sure about 2 days, but 24 hours without food and water. he's not allowed to get out only in as I understand his letter is only 4 rooms where he is sitting. It's 4 people where he is sitting, so he have just contact with 4 of the inmates, and these 4 have a little space outside. They have allowed to be. I'm not sure how, because we don't get the information from the government, we don't get information from the court, we don't get information from the prison. We don't know how he is. We only have his letter, and for us, it also becoming a lot of speculation. What is happening? Why this is happening? And we don't get any information.
Yeah. So what can happen? I mean, basically, either it's kind of him against them. So they're trying to break him. I bet if he now comes clean, if he breaks, if his spirit breaks and he gives in, and he just comes to them and says, "Okay, I had enough. I'll do what you want." And they're going to say, "Okay, sign this, come here, do this." Basically, prove that you are obeying to the system, submit to the system. They'll let him go, probably instantly, like in a day. But he won't do it so far, and maybe at the end of the day, he's just going to have to do it, and then come back to Norway and carry on doing work, from there. Nobody's going to blame him. I'm sure, Schwing, you're not going to say to him, you gave in, you're a wimp, will you?
No, for sure not. But I send my prayers to support his action. Well, good for him. And there is there are some heroes when we learn about this topic. What's his name? The American guy, the last flag standing. He's I tell you his name. He's been arrested. Russell J. Gold.
Yeah.
He's been arrested for a long time. He's been many days with no food because he knew that he is on the side of the truth, and it gave him spiritual power to be fasting so many days. I don't remember how many, but he did his due diligence. This guy, this American guy. I really wish this video could reach this man, and maybe he could help. I don't know. I feel like our friend P here. איך אומרים חסר אונים?
Hopeless.
I don't know. Hopeless for our friend, but helpless, not hopeless. I'm
helpless,
hopeful. Yeah. I'm hopeful that Spirit is guiding this story, and if what I'm thinking, what can we do is to say to every man and woman who is learning this topic of free men on the land to make a video, make something to support, to show a voice. We are behind you, Zygmunt,
Yeah, really. Maybe we need to do a website, like a landing page, very quickly describing what happened. And, we could do selfies, I am Zygmunt or Free Zygmunt, and people will put on their Facebook, like they were proudly stating that they stand with Ukraine, or I'm vaccinated, I am with Zygmunt, and try and do create awareness and maybe even do demonstrations outside the prison, with signs, Free Zygmunt. I mean, if that happened and there was a bit of noise, maybe it'll put pressure on them. However, I'm guessing from Schwingster's story about the American guy, there has to be a limit to what they can do to him. They can't just keep him there forever. So they're trying to, as you say, to move him to another jurisdiction, and now they're going to wait, but eventually they're going to run out of tricks. And you know what I mean? And they're going to have to basically let him go. And don't forget, if he dies on them, God forbid, then they're really in trouble, because then they're going to he's going to become a martyr. You know what I mean? I mean, I hope he doesn't die on them. I wish him long life. But you know what I mean? It's like a game that's being played here, and they have to be also a bit careful with the consequences that might happen here. So we can only wish him to be strong and healthy and stand for his rights and for everyone's rights, and hopefully something good's going to happen. I mean, anything else you want to talk about? You want to mention here, maybe?
Yeah, I can mention a story from him from inside. He he have a lot of quite funny stories also, and one of them is when they are calling him on the intercom for a court hearing. He says, "I don't understand."
Yeah.
And when he says, "I don't understand," they are trying once more. There is a court hearing, you have to appear. And he is answering, "I don't understand." And after a while, 5 to 6 police officers or guards coming into his room. And he then stands up, take his hands in the pocket on the trousers, and just stand stiff as a stock, you know, stiff as... I don't know what the name in English.
As anything.
In his body, he make him stiff in his body.
Yeah.
And he's writing. Then 5 to 6 police officers carry him into another room when he is lying plain between these officers, and they are carrying him to this video conference room.
Unbelievable.
And the lawyer is saying, "You have to be with us on this court hearing." And Sigmund is laying in 5, 6 police officers' arms and just saying, "I don't understand." so, and he also told us another story when they are coming to the prison and carry him. They are actually carrying him out in the car, in the police car, driving him to the courtroom, and the police officer wants to force him out of the car. And the lawyers coming out and the prosecutor are coming out and say, "No, he has to go inside voluntarily."
Yeah.
You know,
and he is just sitting in the car, and they are driving him back to the prison because the lawyers are just bring him back to the prison.
Unbelievable.
He don't appear in the courtroom because he has to do it voluntarily.
He's a real hero.
Yes.
Yes, Swing.
You know, in witchcraft, in order to be witched by the witch, you have to accept. You have to agree to be witched. And if you do not agree, the spell doesn't work. That's why I empower Sigmund's spirit, and well done for him for not understanding.
Yeah. He's going to write a book when he's out, and bestseller.
Yeah. And he also say when the attorney telling the police just bring him back to the prison, the police or guards, they don't understand what's happening, and they have just a big question mark in their head and wondering, why did we bring him here if we just have to put him back?
Yeah.
They don't understand the game.
Is he not talking to them and trying to explain to the police what's going on?
They are understanding the game now, he is writing, because they have tried 4 times to take picture of him, because they want to produce a legal fiction.
How?
Because it's a big problem for them to have a living man in the prison without any identification in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to produce ID on him. So they have come to him with a question: Can we take a photo of you? And he says no. And the 4th time, the prison chief was coming to him and say, if we can take a picture of you, you've been allowed to call your girlfriend for 10 minutes.
Yeah. So that's very interesting, because we've been exploring this document called a live claim.
Live claim. Yeah.
Yeah. Live claim.
Live life claim.
Live life claim. And you just said something which kind of made me think about. You said it's a problem for them to have a living man in prison. And imagine that. Does he have a live life claim?
That I'm not sure of.
Because if he did, then
But
it would be.
He have a document from common law court that says he is a living man. So we have a document on he is a living man, and he have document on the car is registered in the common law, and he have a insurance registered in the common law.
Yeah. This again,
so
coming back to this,
some documentations that prove he's a living man and not a fiction entity.
He have a documentation on that he is a living man.
And what's but
I'm not sure if he have also done it in live life claim. That's I'm not sure, but I don't think so.
Okay, so let's just talk about this live life claim. From what I understand, it has a piece of your hair on it, your DNA, and your fingerprint, and your updated photo, which I'm just imagining. Imagine he had that, and he sat there, and he said, look at this paper, I'm a living man. There's nothing more powerful than this to prove that I am alive. So even if you take a photo of me and try and create whatever fictional document, still, this supersedes it. What I'm showing you here means I am alive and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, what's the problem with that? Remind me. Does any of you remember why, if there's proof that you're alive, then they can't do anything? And I'll ask this way: how are you not alive? If you have an ID, it's the ID that it's not alive. It's not you, the body. But then if the ID exists, then they kind of can link you to it, and then the body becomes dead?
No, it's once a soul is born into life, without knowing, the parents register the baby to the government. They kind of without knowing, they snitch their kid to the government, and the government have this birth certificate, which is you have the baby's claim and the birth certificate, and so they give the you see, the birth certificate is איך אומרים, ישות משפטית.
It's a legal entity.
It's a legal entity. It's not a living entity. It's a dead piece of paper. It's not a proof.
Yes, but right now in jail there is a body of Sigmund, not a piece of paper.
And this is what I understand from P is the problem, because he's not recognizing himself as a legal fiction. He comes and says, I'm not a legal fiction, I am a living being. And so they cannot process him in their machine, in their... You see?
So even if he had an ID, as long as he doesn't, they need to create, from what I understand, there has to be an ID, and the human being needs to do something to link himself to that document. So even if there is a document, but he's not creating the joinder, then they have a problem. So I ask myself, if they did take a photo and did create an ID, then he won't comply. He won't show it. He won't cooperate with linking himself to the ID.
Exactly.
So why do they try to make an ID? He must have one at home somewhere lying around.
This is quite complicated, because this story goes back many hundreds of years. How they have put us in this claw of captivity. Yeah. You know, when a baby is born, it's the mother that signed the paper, and when the mother signing the paper, and not both the mother and the father, this child is a bastard, and then they can take this child because it's a bastard. So they take the child from the parents and says, okay, this child has no father, the state will be its father.
Really? That's something I never heard, that version of the story. Okay.
Yeah. And when they make the birth certificate, the doctor is writing the live life claim, actually, and sending to the state. The state take this live life claim, a new baby is born, it's need a father, okay? The state cannot be the father because the state is a paper.
Yeah.
It's a fiction. So they have to make a fiction on this living child to be connected, because a fiction have to be connected with a fiction. A paper have to be connected with a paper. So they have to make a paper, a fiction on this little child. So they make the legal fiction, the legal entity. And they say to the mother, okay, here is the newborn baby. It's a legal fiction. We think it's the same, but it is two different identification. They don't give you the live life claim that the doctor is writing. They are just giving you the fiction the states are creating on the living fiction. No, the living baby.
Has anyone seen that second live life claim that allegedly the doctor signs?
Yeah. I have never done it myself, but I know people in Norway that have got this original paper from the hospital.
Ah, I see. I think I remember something like that, that you can actually claim it and you can ask for it, and then they send it to you, and then you can revoke it somehow. My God, this is so deep.
So what you have to understand, the legal fiction that the states are creating on the child is actually a company. Because the state is a company, then they have to deal with another company. It's a company to a company. A living man had to deal with a living man. You can't go to a company as a living and claim something because the company is dead. The company needs some living man or woman inside the company to deal with the company's rules.
Okay.
Do you understand?
No, I never understood that. I never understood why a company can't contract with a human.
If you create a company, the company is dead if you don't do anything with it. The company is a company, it's just a paper.
Ah, yeah, you need humans to operate it.
Yeah, you need humans to operate it.
Okay.
By consent. By consent.
Yeah, but you're talking about the employees of the company now.
Yeah, but the employees of the company, they have a contract.
Yes.
With the company to do their will or do their regulations or do what the company is supposed to do.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this, John. I am working for company ABC, so there's a contract of employment between me, Michael Bloom, and the company. Now, I guess that on the contract where it says Michael Bloom, it doesn't say my ID. I'm trying to say, is the contract of employment between my ID and the company, or is it between me, the living man, and the company? Or actually, it cannot be. Apparently, allegedly, it cannot be between the human being and the company because I'm alive and the company is dead. So prove to me that it's not. Prove to me that the contract that I signed with my hand is not signed by a living man.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I quite understood you now.
I think when you click the difference between a living entity and a dead entity, then you understand the word joinder.
Yes.
Then you understand what is it's a fraud. What is the company is doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I'll ask it in a different way. I signed the contract of employment with ABC Limited.
Hang on.
I believe it's a living man that signed it with a corporation. Prove to me that it's not the case.
No, if you signed in the name of your ID, you agree to express yourself as a dead being.
Ah, that's it. So I agreed to sign in the name. Now, what on the contract actually shows that I signed in the name of my ID?
If you
What?
have a company,
The name? Because the name is not in capital, because it's in lowercase? What? If I had done it in capital, then it means that I am the living man?
no, if you get a job in a company, you agreed with the rules in the company,
Yes.
and you are bound to follow the rules in the company.
Yeah, the policies and everything.
The policies and everything. So you act on. If you create a company today, I have created a lot of companies in my life, and when I do so, I have to make not appointment, söknad. I have to write something to the government and tell them I want to make this company as a builder man. I'm a carpenter, and I want to have this company. They ask, okay, what is the frame of this company?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, the memorandum and articles.
Yeah. So I make this statement. I want to do this and this and this, and this is my company. Okay, me as a living man take responsibility for that company.
Yeah.
And that's why a government can also function, because living men take responsibility for the rules inside the state.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you don't want to be in that rules, if you don't agree to go to war to Ukraine, and you say, hang on here, I am financing through my tax money the war in Ukraine. As my conscience will not allow that, so I said, I don't do it. And if you do so in the states of Norway, the police is coming to arrest you.
Yeah. Of course, you're like a defector.
Yeah.
Hey, try doing that in Israel. You'll be arrested even faster.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, another example. Do you know when you open a company, LTD, for example, it has the same rights of a civilian, but it's a company. It's not a man. So how does this work? How Coca-Cola have the same rights of a legal fiction, you and me? Yeah, or identity card. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's because it's the realm of the dead, and when the judges come together, it's like they speak the language of the dead. So when a living man come and say, I'm a living man, they say, I cannot hear you. They need a lawyer to speak like a seance, to bring up the soul and speak in the name of the dead. So it's all a dead thing, It's so, but it's so old. We were born into it. Most people, when we speak about it, what? That's why the police officers not comprehending why they have to take Zygmunt back and forth.
Yes.
Hopefully it will make them think what's going on here.
Exactly.
They are being the criminals.
He's educating them.
Yeah, but that's the real fascinating point of view. You can say, Swing, they are the criminals, and that's actually law. That's law. What they are operating under, that's legal. That's rules that a company have made. That's not law. Law is land, air, water. But they are making these rules. That's not law. God is law.
Yeah.
So they are breaking the law, and they are punishing living man and woman for breaking the statutes.
Yes.
That's how crazy this is.
Totally crazy. Absolutely
And it's all over the
mind-boggling.
world the same.
And I hope I'm not a Christian and I'm not a believer, but I have been a Christian. I have been in the religion. And actually, I hope there is a God who's going to point this out someday. I hope so.
Yes, there is, and you are it.
And more I can tell you, there is the law of karma. What you give is what you get. And they don't know the consequences. But when we come to the level of soul, then they're going to have to deal with it. When they will realize each individual, whatever crimes they made, they going to have to deal with it. If there is a hell or whatever, I don't know to say, but it's gonna happen. You know, every person, every man or woman comes in a time in their life where they have to do איך אומרים חשבון נפש.
They need to do I don't know, try and use another word.
You know, when a person, when
Repentant.
someone,
Repentant.
when they have to make a calculation of the good things they did and the bad things they did, it comes to everybody.
Yeah.
Every being of mankind have that moment where they have to think of this. It comes to them. And if they put it under the rug, I didn't do it. Oh, I'm doing okay. It will come to them. The more they delay it, the bigger the knockout they will have. And they will feel really, really bad. You know,
Yes.
this is...
There's also a perspective, there's also the perspective that the collective consciousness, which we are all part of, including the bad guys, we are all the same, we're all part of the same thing that is creating the outer reality. So really, we've actually put the cabal there, we've actually subconsciously, all of us together, created this prison that we are in, and it's up to us to come together and consciously break it and change it. So it's not really them and us, and it's they're gonna get it and we won't, and we need God to come and sort it all out. It's all up to us. And again, and this is even more complicated. You know, this is even more to understand what I just said and actually be it is even more complicated than understanding the common law issue and everything.
That's why I think this is Zygmunt is a great opportunity for all of us awake man and woman to come and say, we disagree. We don't agree anymore with this system. Enough is enough, and this is the moment.
I do not consent.
This is the moment.
I do not consent.
Yeah,
and let Zygmunt free.
That's
Yes.
the best. That's the best words you can use today. I don't consent. I have a quite funny story about another friend who was in court in Norway.
Yeah.
You know, the court is all about the dead. It's all about the darkness. It's all about rituals and stuff. And you know, the black robe they are using is the same black robe the Egyptian used for thousands of years to cut in the dead bodies and bury the bodies and what you call balsamering, when they put these bodies inside this stuff
Mummy.
to keep them.
Mummify.
The priests there used black robes. That's the picture of what the judges and the prosecutors and this actors does. They are just operating with the dead.
Yeah.
And
Ridiculous.
this friend of mine, he came inside this courtroom. It was just for a little fine he had got, and he used this quantum grammar on the letters, but he came to the court just to clarify what was happening. And the first thing he asked the judge was, "Do you recognize me as a living man?" And the judge replied, "I see you are a living man." Yeah, but that was not the question. The question is, do you recognize me as a living man? And the judge says, "We need to take 5 minutes break."
And then what happened?
The judge went out, and the prosecutor came to my friend and started to targeting him to fail in some kind of failure to accept the legal fiction. But he didn't do that. And then when the judge came in, the prosecutor, he actually said to the judge, "You can't come in now. We are not finished."
Huh.
So the judge went out again. So,
And then?
it's just they just cut off the court. They didn't finish the court, and they sent a new letter to him with a fine, bigger fine, I don't know. And he just do the same thing over again. They are not giving up. They are trying, and they are not giving up.
That's the only way they can exist, is by doing what they're doing. It's always coercion and threatening. That's their communication, and that is supposed to be public servants. Yeah. Well, what type of a service is that? Why would people accept service like this? Like a lord in old times, if a servant will speak not nice to the lord, what would the lord do to the servant?
Yeah, just another crazy aspect
so
of
now
this,
the question, who is the servant and who is the lord in this whole system? Because man and woman are bewitched to believe they are oh, don't hurt me, I'll pay you, just don't hurt me. But if they knew that the power is in our hands, we are the Lord, and the judges and the policemen and all of the people in the companies, they are servants. They should do what we tell them to do, but because we don't know that, they keep on doing it. And why is this that we don't know it? Is because in school they don't teach us law. They teach us how to be good citizens, not men.
Yeah.
Very good point.
So with that, I believe we can wrap this interesting interview up. And is there anything else you want to say, P, just to finish up?
No, I say a lot in my own video here in Norway that we have to turn this around. So the government is there to serve us, not to dictate us.
Yeah.
Because we want the power back to the living man and woman. We are the creators. A paper can't create anything. We can create.
Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Amen. Hallelujah. Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and for that, I wish to thank you very much.
Thank you too.
See you soon.
Thank you very much.
Take care, and to our lovely viewers, please be strong and support Zygmunt. Stand up for your rights. We're all in this together, fighting for freedom. And thank you very much for watching wearefree.tv.